You get in the car, you start the engine, and before you even touch the seatbelt, the radio is already on. Not because there's something you want to hear, just because silence wasn't an option. You've done it so automatically for so long, you don't even notice it anymore. But someone turns it off once, and the feeling that follows is immediate. Not relief, not peace, something closer to exposure. Like something was being covered that is now uncovered, like the silence has weight. That feeling is not random, it is not weakness, it is information. And once you understand what it's actually telling you, you can't unhear it. Here's what most people assume, that filling the car with sound is just habit or preference. But watch what happens when the option is removed entirely. No radio, no podcast, no phone. The mind doesn't go quiet, it gets louder, much louder. Every unresolved thought, every uncomfortable feeling, every conversation replayed. The sound wasn't entertainment, it was armor against your own mind. Psychologists call this cognitive avoidance, using external stimulation to manage internal discomfort. It is one of the most common self-regulation strategies humans use without knowing it. And it works. That's the important part. It genuinely works in the short term. The sound occupies just enough mental bandwidth to keep the difficult thoughts at bay. Not by solving them, just by giving your brain somewhere else to put its attention. But here's where it gets more complicated, because not everyone needs this. Some people find silence in the car deeply comfortable, even necessary. So what separates the two? The answer goes deeper than personality. It goes into how the nervous system was shaped, very early, often without anyone knowing. The nervous system has two primary settings, regulated and unregulated. People who grew up in calm, predictable environments learned that silence is safe. Silence meant nothing bad was happening. Silence was just silence. But in homes where silence meant tension was coming, the nervous system learned something different. It learned that quiet is a warning signal, that something is about to happen. Decades later, that child is now driving, and silence still feels like a warning. This is what neuroscientists call a conditioned fear response. Silence became a trigger. The brain wired that association so deeply it survived into adulthood completely intact. But here's what makes this fascinating. It doesn't only apply to difficult childhoods. Some people simply have a naturally more active default mode network. Their mind generates more thoughts per minute, more connections, more noise. For these people, silence isn't empty, it's full of everything their brain produces. Adding sound to that environment isn't avoidance, it's management. Think about what music or podcasts actually do to an overactive mind while driving. They give the mind an external structure, a rhythm to follow instead of generating its own. The brain follows the music the way water follows a channel, directed, contained. This is why certain genres work better than others for emotional states. Fast tempo for numb drives, familiar lyrics for anxious ones, silence only when truly settled. You have been doing emotional regulation through sound selection your entire driving life, without a single therapy session, without any formal training, just instinct. But there's a layer underneath this that most people never examine. What exactly are you avoiding hearing when you reach for that dial? For some, it's anxiety. For others, grief. For some, it's simply thoughts about themselves they'd rather not face. Here's the thing nobody says out loud. The car is one of the few places you're truly alone. No role to play, no one to perform for, no expectations from anyone. And for people who spend their day managing how they appear to others, that is terrifying. Because when the sound stops, you are left with the one person you can't avoid, yourself, with nowhere to go and nothing to distract from the conversation. The sound is not about entertainment, it is about managing the relationship with yourself. And that is not something to be ashamed of, that is something to be curious about. Because what you're reaching for when you turn that dial on is actually a clue about what your inner world sounds like when nothing is covering it. Some people try the experiment, 10 minutes of silence on a familiar route, and what they find in those 10 minutes tells them more about themselves than they expected. The question isn't whether you need sound in the car, the question is what the need is telling you. The person who needs sound to drive is not distracted, they are not weak. They have simply built a system that keeps them functional when their mind would otherwise pull them under. And the person who can sit in complete silence while driving has not conquered more. They simply carry a different kind of quiet, one that was safe enough to keep. If this made you think about what you reach for when you get in the car, subscribe. Every week, Wheel Psyche goes deeper into the psychology behind the things car people do that nobody ever stops to explain. Turn it up or leave it quiet. Either way, now you know why.